You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
Right, 2 seconds.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my protein co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me, shaking it up still. Kadeem, you know, no matter how much protein shakes you take and how many times you go to the gym, it's always for the fans and by the fans. You do know that, right?
You done me so dirty, but literally, like that time, there was no way I was ready. You saw me, like we was having a conversation off air. You saw me get the protein shake. I was shaking it, about to take a sip, and you started the show.
It doesn't matter if you was taking a sip or not.
Again, you know, the pocket wasn't clean, but I saw my target. I pulled back. See that? I pulled back. I'm hitting my guy downfield. 8 minutes stride, touchdown. I'm a pro out here. I'm not blaming others, for, you put me off. Nah, it's not about that. I'm using the circumstances I'm given to make wild plays. Hopefully we get the same with the guy we're going to talk about. See that segue? See that? I'm clean. I'm nice. I'm nice out here.
This guy's flexing. Yeah. This guy.
I'm working on it.
This guy. Trent Sherfield. Mike McDaniel reunites with Trent Sherfield. I hope I said that right, Sherfield. How you say it, Kadeem?
I would say the exact same thing. So if we're both wrong, we're both wrong. Like you would have to say, when I do good, you do good. When I do bad, you do bad. We're a team. You ride together, you die together, but you live to fight another day.
I need a new co-host, bro. This guy, man.
Can't be like that. Cool. That's the obvious.
This guy. Anyway, bad boys for life. Trent Sherfield, receiver, special teams ace, they call him. And this is very, very interesting because this is the first time we've talked, Kadeem, since Mac Hollins went to the Raiders. And I had an inkling that we were moving off from Mac Hollins because of the other moves we were making in free agency. And a couple people thought, no, there's no way we're going to move on from Mac Hollins. And I didn't plant the flag and say, hey, we're moving on from Mac Hollins. But I was like, hey, y'all brace yourself because there's a lot of moves going on the Dolphins right now that looks like they're not going back to Mac Hollins. So to talk about Trent Sherfield real quick, he reunites. He knows the system. He was coached up by McDaniel and Wes Welker. What do you make of this, Kadeem?
Yeah, I think you got it spot on, mate. I think the writing was on the wall with some of the moves we made. I don't want to say that this is a Matt Collins replacement, but this is basically a Matt Collins replacement. And again, I think it's a situation where perhaps they had spoke to Mac and was like, we want you back. We want you on these terms. And this is me 100% speculating. He probably wanted more than what was being offered. And I think the chances are, if that is the case, he probably deserved it. Because I think last season he was a genuine wide receiver too, given Parker was out. And I think he elevated himself above a special teams ace and became a viable, wide receiver in the Miami Dolphins scheme. I think he probably wanted to be paid like a viable wide receiver in the Miami Dolphins offensive scheme. But I think on the flip side to that is that Mike McDaniel was probably like, I've got my own moves I want to make. I want to keep you in the building because, you're a brilliant special teams guy. You can contribute on offense, but your snaps on offense will probably go down with Cedric Wilson Jr. in the building, with a healthy Devontae Parker, if assumed. with a healthy Preston Williams, if assumed, and I still think we'll go wide receiver in the draft. So I think it was just a matter of I haven't seen the terms for this Sherfield deal yet, but he's probably on a lot less money in which Hollins would have commanded, I guess.
Yeah, he is. Matt Collins got more than he got. Matt Collins got more with Vegas than Sherfield got with Miami. There is nobody on the Miami Dolphins football team that wants to be in Miami more than Matt Collins. Y'all can take that to the bank. No one loves Miami more than Matt Collins does. So shout out to Matt Collins, man. We appreciate you. While Kadeem pops another protein shake. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same one. I haven't finished
it. Listen, man. I didn't interrupt you, bro. So shout out to Matt Collins going to the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? I hope he gets off. I hope that's where he had that. And I didn't give him his credit. Last time we talked about Matt Collins and Preston Williams, we talked about which one would you rather have. And I said, I seen Matt Collins fall into the floor when we needed him at the 1 yard line. And he dropped the touchdown. But I got to give Matt Collins his credit because that same game, he caught the Hail Mary from the face mask Fitzpatrick, which was a classic. Fitzpatrick looking at the ceiling, getting his face pulled back, and threw a dime to Matt Collins, and we ended up winning that game. So I didn't give him his credit for that. But we did have the conversation of who, if you had to pay $1 million to one receiver for one season, would it be Preston Williams or Matt Collins? Turns out we got our answer. And they decided to go Preston Williams instead of Matt Collins. So when you say Trent Sherfield could be Matt Collins' replacement, it seems that way. But here's where I disagree with this Trent Sherfield acquisition. If we moved on from Matt Collins, I was under the impression that we would add a special teams person in a different position, like cornerback. And that's what what's your boy name?
Keon
Crossen. That's what Crossen was. Crossen came in as a corner, and he's played special teams. So I was hoping that was Matt Collins' replacement, so we can have 6, I'll just say, real wide receivers on the team. So if you have Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden, Cedric Wilson, and that spot, the 6th spot, was empty. That 6th spot traditionally is usually like a wide receiver, like Matt Collins, that plays special teams, that shouldn't see the field. As my co-host so eloquently put it, Matt Collins was our number 2, bro. So technically, the 6th receiver on your team ended up being your number 2. You can't win like that. There's a reason why all these teams are trying to go get better at wide receiver. And we'll have somebody else come on to the show and debate why you shouldn't have all these receivers. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have receivers on your team. So I was hoping instead of Trent Sherfield coming in, and I'm going to say something that I don't like being. There was this movie with, what's your boy name? Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, my dog. It was called Fracture. You ever seen that movie, Kadeem? Fracture.
You know I haven't seen that movie.
Such a good movie. I know, but I got to put you out there. So such a good movie. Fracture by Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins in it. And Ryan Gosling. Such a good movie. Y'all go watch that movie. And he basically says, just being like knowledgeable and being smart, like, it's not always a good thing, because then you see things coming that you see it coming, you know it's coming, but it still hurts the same. And my thing about this is the Dolphins are going to go get another receiver. We're going to get another receiver. But where's he gonna go on this roster, right? So my thing is, if you just look at the roster, you got there's only 2 people on this roster as wide receivers who are absolutely not going anywhere. Can you name those 2 receivers, Kadeem?
Jalen Waddle and Cedric Wilson.
That is it. Jalen Waddle and Cedric Wilson are not going anywhere. Parker could still be moved. Preston could still be cut. That's $1 million. Lynn Bowden could still be moved on from. That's $1 million. Trent Sherfield, pennies on the dollar. So if the draft comes up and the Dolphins decide to trade their 29th overall pick for DK Metcalf, and then John Michie falls to them unexpectedly in the second round, you telling me they're not going to pull that trigger? You see what I'm saying? So Trent Sherfield replacing Mike Hollins, I get it. Don't get too attached to this. He's the 6th receiver on the roster as of today, but there's a chance Preston Williams don't make this team, and there's also a chance it's a stretch. I don't even want to say it, but Lynn Bowden could be on the bubble because you're going to get another receiver. And if you get 2 more receivers, y'all do the math.
I think Lynn Bowden's, I'm not going to say gadget skills, but his ability to kind of, be used in trick situations kind of makes him a viable option for the Dolphins. I think that, again, this is a brand new offensive coaching staff, so everyone has a clean slate. I'm not saying that Lynn Bowden definitely makes it, but I do believe that when push comes to shove, they're more likely to keep him around and use him in special ways. Because again, I remember on one of the weeks when you had decided that you didn't want to record a podcast and I had Chris Adams on the show. Don't give me that face.
You talking about when I was like almost dying? Like I was coughing up a lung?
I'm not quoting when it happened. But it was me and El Capitan, Chris Adams from the Finn Tailgate show. You know how much we love them. Go show them as much love and support as possible. I remember me and him were like, where the trick plays? When am I going to start, having some fun on offense and, move receivers around and, make things difficult for the opposition. And I believe Cedric Wilson threw a touchdown pass last season, or he has in the NFL. If you start having Jalen Waddle and Lynn Bowden, running jet sweep and all that kind of stuff, and Cedric Wilson, I just think it's a much more fun offense than, Jalen Waddle in the slot and Devontae Parker and Cedric Wilson on the outside, and we're going to run. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but we've seen that before. Like, let's have some fun with it. So, yeah, I just think because of that, we're more likely to see Lynn Bowden stick around, but they kind of, not take the shine away from, Sherfield and stuff. I think a lot of these signings who we've spoke about before, and the ones who have come having worked under Mike McDaniel, it's kind of like when we're installing this offense, these are the kind of guys who, when Mike McDaniel's like, okay, we're going to run this play. Okay, we're going to have, Mostert come in, Sherfield come in. Because these guys kind of know how I am, they're going to show you how it's done and stuff like that. And I think, especially as they install this offense, you want them kind of guys in the locker room. The ones like, okay, these guys know what I'm about. Follow their lead. And I think in the nicest way possible, once things kind of catch on with other players, you're like, okay, cool, this is how we're going to do things. That's when you're more likely to see, okay, a Trent Sherfield might not make it to the end of the season because he's not being paid that much. And now everyone kind of is up to speed and knows what's happening. Thanks. We appreciate what you've done for us, but like you said, we want, in the nicest possible way, we want difference makers at wide receiver as opposed to, placeholders.
Man, so yeah, man, I feel like if you got Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, and I'll just say, so how about this, Kadeem? Some people believe Cedric Wilson is going to start at slot, and Waddle will bump out to outside, and Parker will be the number one. How do you like that? How you feel about that?
Say that again. Sorry, Waddle bounces outside.
Parker will be the X, Waddle will be outside, and Wilson would be the new slot receiver because he plays slot. That's his actual position. He doesn't play outside.
I'm okay with that. I don't hate it. I think a lot of things is just in that way possible, can they get open, or can they make plays? I'm kind of past the point of lining people up in certain positions and them not doing anything in that way possible. Can we scheme people open? Can we make the most of the yards after the catch and all that kind of stuff? And yeah, again, can we move them around and make things difficult for the opposition? So yeah,
that's interesting. I don't think Waddle's going on the outside. Will he line up outside a couple times? Yeah, for sure. I think Wilson is Waddle's backup in the nicest way, meaning there will never be a time ever again where the Dolphins have to rely on practice squad receivers ever again. And we're going to add another receiver. It'll be Waddle in the slot. We'll have Parker and a new receiver on the outside. Then you have Wilson as the fourth receiver, Lynn Bowden as the fifth receiver, and your special teams guy as the sixth receiver. I don't love that. I want another receiver. Give me Laviska Shenault for a fifth-round pick and $1 million a year. I don't know why we wouldn't do that, but okay. Laviska Shenault, by the way, a second-round pick, 49th overall, also on Charlie Touche's 24. So I don't know why you saved that pick, and I don't like it. But I think we add another receiver, and if you add another receiver, I wonder if the Dolphins are so bold to just add that receiver, let Parker go, put Waddle to the outside, and have Wilson as your starting slot receiver. I don't know. It's a lot of things you could do. I would entertain DK Metcalf though. I would entertain trading that. Should I make a bold prediction right here, Kadeem?
yeah. Let me. No. Be bold. Don't be that guy. Be bold.
Nah.
Stick your chest up. But come on. Oh, that hurt. Let me.
See, bro, you in the gym 1 week and he poke his chest out and break a rib cage, bro. You not about this life.
I'm not about this life.
You're not about this life.
This guy. Okay, cool. Fair enough. We'll see.
Y'all stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time.
Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.